Hey there. This
I
is Abe Friedtanzer. So excited to be speaking with Enrico Colantoni about English teacher. How are you, Enrico?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? Where are you? That looked beautiful
Good. I'm
where you are.
outside at a park in Burbank. I have a screening soon, so I figured let's do something fun outside. Hope you can hear
Oh,
me
that's
and maybe even
fantastic.
see me a little bit okay.
I see you fine. I see you fine.
Awesome.
I've only been reading about how fun it is in LA. So
Well, I'd love to start by asking you what your relationship was with your teachers when you were growing up.
I loved my teachers. I went to high school at a time where, teachers wanted to be teachers. They the sense of vocation was very present. It was a parochial school, so there were a lot of priests and nuns as well, so they were ready to kick your ass, and unapologetically so, literally and physically. Uh, but they were encouraging, they were empowering. They and I was a good kid too. I knew how to bob and weave and avoid punishment. But they really were inspiring. I still talk to several of them to this day.
It's really great. What about the principal?
Now, the first principal was a Basilian father. He was a priest, and he was mean, and everyone was afraid of Father Moen. He built the school, so he took pride in what he built. By the time I was a senior, I was student body president. I worked with another Basilian father named Father McLean, and he was delightful. He was lovely and accommodating, and you could approach him. And he helped me. Basically, it's sort of a longer story, but he encouraged me and gave me the means to continue my dream and go to New York and pursue my dream. He was very pivotal in that.
That's really great. I don't think that's the sense of intellectual academic inspiration that we get from this show. So how do you relate
No,
your experience with this
well
comedy
things well
series?
things change, right? The world has definitely changed, and the sense of accountability is sort of murky. It's like, who has all the responsibility without the authority, or who has all the authority without the responsibility, and vice versa. Teachers seem to really be caught between they seem caught between a rock and a hard place of being scrutinized, being judged, being vilified, and at the same time trying to do their job, and affect change in a student body that really has the internet and really can just prove you wrong at any turn. And so they're not seen as the authority figures that I saw them in the 80s. So a guy like Moretti, who comes from an old school educational system before the internet, before cell phones, he had a lot of authority. He was respected. Now he's just very much afraid of losing his job and surviving, and how to maneuver through the landmines of PTAs and student. It's a very interesting show, and I think Brian does a wonderful job. I mean, a perfect job in creating a world where everybody is sort of figuring out where they fit in and how to make it work and still do their job that they love doing.
Do you think that he loves his job though? Because we don't really
100%.
see a lot of passion for it.
100%. He has all the makings of a young teacher who wants to affect change, and he's tapped into that, and he does. He's driven by that. It's going to beat him up. It's going to make him tired. He is what Moretti was 30 years earlier, and Moretti just he learned to survive, how to affect change, and still cover his ass. So I don't know. That's a veteran move that any young teacher will learn to acquire over time. You get burned enough,
Yeah.
you learn how to bob and weave.
Well, we don't see a lot of Moretti interacting with students. It's mainly just with the other teachers. And I
Yeah.
would not say he's a very good manager. What's
No,
your take on?
he wouldn't know what to do. If he were a substitute teacher for a day, he would just have them read and sit at his chair and keep his head down. He wouldn't know. I mean, the one in the, I think it was the pilot where he tells some kid to stop vaping, and he goes, he goes, I can smell it. No, you can't. It's just like, all right, I'm going to keep walking. He doesn't stand a chance against the student body.
I remember having a classmate who I think was caught smoking by the assistant principal and then blew smoke in his face, which obviously was not really received well. But I think over the years, they developed a friendship and a relationship, mentor something. I hope he's doing well. I don't know. But I don't think that Moretti would really get that
No,
confrontational to even,
no.
do that. He would just sort of fold.
Yeah. A younger teacher would have adapted and said, I understand, I smoke weed my day too, blah, blah, blah. But Moretti is pretty, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I would love to. I don't know if you saw the last episode, but there's a sense with Moretti that
Yeah.
he's he enjoys those quiet moments with his peers. He's still tapped into, while he's eating that burger, he's going, this is just such a good moment. I don't get to do this at home. He probably has a more difficult time being at home than he does at school.
That was an unexpectedly sweet thing. I'm also curious what it is he does, while he's in his robe in the hotel. It doesn't seem like it's too suspicious. It's
It's
just
a
more
thing. It's a thing.
relaxing time for himself,
Yeah. It's just quiet. It's just a quiet time. And the only time you hear him actually swear, I mean, technically, where unabashedly, is when he sees them through the people. I think that's so funny. He goes, oh, fuck. He's like, but he won't say it, or he'll apologize for saying it otherwise. It's very, very funny. Yeah. Yeah.
He's also funnier than expected after all the teachers tell him, don't put these jokes in your speech.
He,
He's doing great.
he
That was
knows his
that was a fun
audience.
surprise.
He knows his audience. He knows his audience. I mean, that's what you get from a wily veteran like Moretti. He's scared to death, but he knows he'll still get you out of a jam. You know what I mean? Well, no, maybe he'll teach you how to survive, is what he'll teach you. Just like, you're in it for the long haul. I love that moment where he's telling, there's a reason why we do this, and good people make good teachers. I think that's such a beautiful moment for him, when he acknowledges that Evan is a good person and that he's in it for the long haul and he does care. And that's all you can bring in any vocation, in today's world, where everybody's watching you and everybody's dissecting every move you make. All we have is to bring our integrity and our care and our concern. Yeah. What else are you going to bring? We keep bringing that every day.
I also like that he wasn't too weird at the bar in the last episode, where he definitely was out of place and not entirely comfortable. He made it work somehow.
He tries. He's open-minded. He says he's open-minded. Oh, that's such a great episode. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just thrilled with the whole happening of the show. It's great.
I don't think we have any news on season 2 as of right now, but what would you like to see from Moretti in the future?
That somehow, I mean, we talk about it, or jokingly we talk about it. I think he's best at school, right? If we spend more time at school, there's more fodder there. But I was about to give a storyline that I really am not at liberty to speak of, so I apologize for even teasing you with it, Abe. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We want it to happen, so better that you
Yeah,
don't tell me about it, so
yeah.
then we see it and we
No
can talk about
surprises.
it after that. I don't want to ruin anything.
And I don't know if the writers are serious about it, but we were like playing with it at the end of last season. It's just like, how do you deal with something like that? But anyway, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, I know that you have a lot of fans from some of your past work, like Veronica Mars. Have you found people coming to this show knowing you from other things and being excited to see you in this role?
The exciting part is that there are so many people who had never seen me before on this show. It's great. Usually you have, your Just Shoot Me's, your Veronica Mars, your Galaxy Quest fans, but then once in a while you get, it's like, who is that guy? It's just like, yes, I'm broadening my demographic.
I like that perspective because I feel like I want people to recognize me. I've been working for so long, but you like the fact that you're getting a new audience. I think that's a great perspective.
New audience. It's an absolutely new audience. It might be a little younger, for sure. I would expect that, but just an older crowd is just going, wow, or maybe they just don't put two and two together. I know a lot of people had trouble identifying me as the guy from Galaxy Quest, which is a great compliment. But that's what happens when you wear wigs and grow beards. It's like you're not you had to hide.
Well, I've been thinking about you riding a bicycle in Station 11 recently. That's just
Oh,
like stuck in my
oh,
mind.
what a joy! What a joy that role was. He's such an innocent, such an innocent. That bike. They gave me that bike. They let me have it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know where it is now, but they let me have it.
Well, I'm also a big fan of Person of Interest, and I feel like that's a show that has like you weren't even part of it for the entire thing, but there's just such a legacy, and that show is very much unlike what was on at that time, I think.
Oh my God! And that character was so. Uh, I've never, I mean, I guess if I am ever going to play a bad guy, he's going to be that guy. He's going to be Elias. Sort of smarter, but lets everybody else do the dirty work and just doesn't. You know what I mean? He's just too smart and just Machiavellian. He's Machiavellian, is what he is. Not. Those are fun characters.
Well, for those either who just know you from this or from other stuff, what's the hidden gem from your career that people never ask you about that you wish they did in interviews like this?
Hope and Gloria. Do you remember that one? No, you were too young for Hope and Gloria. David. Hope and Gloria was with Alan Thicke and Taylor Negron, and Cynthia Stevenson, Jessica Lundy, and I just got to play such a lovable sort of buffoon. His name was his actual name was Utz, Louis Utz, and he lived up to his name. He was such an Utz, and he was just so much fun. And probably because it was the first steady gig I had done after theater school, and it was a sitcom, and sitcoms are great. But it was at 35 episodes. It was on NBC. It was on after Mad About You, and it was a long time ago. But that was so much fun. That was a lot of fun. Do you remember it? You're just
Well,
nodding your head, but do you actually remember it?
no, no, I know my parents watched Mad About You. I was born in '88, so I feel like the timing was not
Yeah, you
right
were a
for me.
little
I'm
kid.
sorry.
Little kid.
So, all right. Well, before I let you go, while we're waiting for this storyline you can't tell me about in season 2 of English Teacher, what else are you working on right now?
I'm up in Canada doing a CBC police procedural called Allegiance. Uh, it's its second season, um, and then I'm going to Nova Scotia to do the second season of another Canadian show called The Trades, which is a comedy with the guys from Trailer Park Boys. So it's good to be busy, but I can't wait to get back to Atlanta. If they can hear me, if those at FX can hear me.
We'll make sure they can. Thank you so much, Enrico. Looking forward to
My
talking to you
pleasure.
again.